How many of you remember not even several years ago, just a couple of years ago, when African Americans were killed as a result of somebody saying they were standing their ground? They were standing their ground. Well, this morning, it's all about stand on that, and it's all about the biblical perspective of having the conviction that we should have in the moments that we are find ourselves in. Good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna, and I certainly have a word for you on this morning. You already know what it's going to be. It's going to be the text to talk to take away 5 minutes or less. But I got to greet some people first. While I'm greeting, you can turn to Daniel 1 and 8, NIV translation. While I'm greeting, you can turn to Daniel 1 and 8. You already know, put the revelation that you get in the chat area so others can get it as well. And then share it. Share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. It's time for Morning Manna. How many of you ready for Morning Manna? Now, before I get into the manna and before I start greeting people as well, I just need to ask you to pray for one of our Manna fam, loyal Manna fam for years. And that is not doing well this morning. Carolyn Fenoy, it's Brenda's sister, and she is always on it and not doing well this morning. So please lift her up in prayer. Lift her up in prayer. Really need you to do that, Carolyn Fenoy, and you make sure that you pray for her, that God brings her up and lifts her off of that bed of affliction and move forward in that. The other thing I need you to do, man of fam, before I start greeting some folk on this morning, how many of you have purchased a book? I certainly hope that you have purchased a book. Let me just make sure that you see what I'm talking about because it's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I need you to go ahead and get the book. I know that we have, really been moving on beyond that right now. Last week was the big week. But if you've purchased a book, Leading Through Storms, Successfully Navigating Ministry While Maintaining Your Mental Health. Purchase the book. And if you haven't, go ahead and get it. Please do me the biggest favor. Go on Goodread or Amazon and do a review. I need 100 reviews by Sunday. Can you help me do that? I really need you to help me do that. If you got it, go ahead and do that, or go on Goodread and post it. Now, if you're not going to give me 5 stars, don't bother going with your life. I just got to be honest with you. But at any rate, just wanted to shoot that out at you on this morning. And this morning is all about stand your ground, having the conviction, no matter what, stand on that, stand on that, stand on that. Let me greet some folk. Then we're going to get right into it on this morning. Let's get right into it on this morning. Good morning, Ramona. How are you? Always the first. Good morning, Ella. How are you? Gerald, how are you? Deacon Joe, how are you? Brother Nesbitt, how are you on this morning? Elder Jan, how are you? Elder Mobley, how are you on this morning? Angela, how are you? Good to see you. Angela, if you got your book yet, we shipped it off. Make sure that you let me know when you get it. Good morning, Denise. How are you on this morning? Laura, how are you on this morning? Brother Pope, how are you on this morning? Verena, how are you doing on this morning? Minister Sent, how are you on this morning? Gloria, how are you on this morning? Lena, how are you? Carolyn, what are you doing on here? I'm telling everybody to pray for you, and you on Morning Matter. There she is. God bless you. Good to see you and everything. You don't scare us no more, okay? Just just be just keep it going. Keep it moving. And don't be scaring us no more. Good morning, Vaughn. How are you on this morning? Vicky, how are you on this morning? Vaughn, how are you? Pamela, how are you on this morning? Good to see all of you on this morning. Good morning, Deborah. How are you on this morning? Dawn, how are you? Pamela, how are you on this morning? Pastor Leah, how are you? Lena, how are you? Pastor Richard, shout out all the way over to the motherland, the soil that birthed us all. The soil that birthed us all, as well as humanity as well. Good morning, Laura. How are you on this morning? Samar, how are you on this morning? Cynthia, how are you? Great, great testimony last night and our updated version of the testimony service, telling our story. It was really great last night. It really was. It really, really was. I really appreciate that. Uh, Tarika, help me pronounce your name. I know it. I'm struggling with pronouncing it. But good morning. How are you on this morning? Good to see all of you all on this morning. Francine, how are you? Tell Elder to give me another phone. I'm trying to call him, and I don't know. Them tin cans ain't working. I'm not being able to kind of. Hey, I gotta let me stop the presses. Let's just stop the presses. Here is Verla Davis. And I need you all to this shout out. This goes all the way back to my military career. This young lady was a lay minister, we called him that in the chapel system at Spangdahlem Air Force Base, and was moving into her call now, just blown up in her call, and is joining us. Ferla, thank you so much for being a part this morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Long lives back there, all the way back there. Good morning, Coach Dagny. How are you? Let me just shout out a couple of more folk, and then we got to get with it. Let me see what is Carolyn. Carolyn, what are you talking about here? Thank you, Bishop and Manna fam. Brenda is watching, but can't type. Okay, all right. All right. Well, we're glad that you're able to watch. We're glad that you're able to watch. You watching means a lot. It means a lot to us, and that you are on and that you're doing well. And I pray for you this morning, for sure, for real. Hey, let's get right into it. Stand on that. Stand on that. The text to talk to take away 5 minutes less. Here is the word Daniel 1 and 8, the NIV translation. Listen to it in the version of your choice. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine. And he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. A resolve, a stand, a conviction. Conviction is more than belief, it's belief with a backbone. Grab this. In a Babylonian culture that tried to strip Daniel, and this is what we're having right now, of his identity, rename him, and indoctrinate him with a new worldview. Daniel stood tall. He stood firm. He didn't move. Now, the Hebrew word translated resolve or conviction means to purpose, to set, to establish firmly. Daniel didn't just think about it. He made a decision rooted in spiritual clarity and unthinkable purpose. Here is the deal that I need you to get. In this moment that we find ourselves in, as African Americans and beyond, you have to grab a hold of the fact you better have some conviction. You better have conviction. I'm gonna give you three things in a moment, but hear this next thing. You know, we're constantly asked to compromise. Compromise. Yeah, yeah. You ever worked somewhere and they was trying to get you to compromise who you were, your identity? You know what? It's not gonna work. Daniel teaches us that your convictions is everything. It really is. You cannot compromise. You cannot. You have to hold on to who you are. Black believers, especially, must have a conviction to walk in the fullness of who God has called us to be. And there's three things I want you to get so that you will not compromise, but have conviction and take a stand. Convictions are tested in the environment of compromise. Daniel was surrounded by opulence, and he chose not to assimilate, but to be who he was. Second thing, conviction are not preferences, they are priorities anchored in God and who you are and your faith and your walk. I'm not going to move from what God, what does he say? When you've done all, stand. Conviction brings clarity. Conviction brings clarity. When the pressure comes to conform, to compromise, to be someone that you lose who you are, Your conviction will help you remember you are who you are, and God, that's who He called you to be in the moment that you find yourself in. So, what's the takeaway? The takeaway is this: don't let the culture cancel your conviction. Don't let the culture cancel your conviction to be the believer and the black believer that God has called you to be in these moments. The Lord be with you today as you go throughout the day. May His face shine upon you and give you peace. Share the manna. Bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna, and I'll give you a trailer for the message Sunday. God bless you.